All right, so we're going through the full banner schedule up until around mid-August, and this is something that shouldn't really change. Now, I'm going to start with this so people don't ever ask me again because it's starting to get a bit annoying. When do Fest banner release? Every 2 months. Well, every 2 seasons, basically, but a season's around the month. So if you know Season 8, and we know the next Fest is Season 10, and we know the next Fest is Valkyrie, then it's obvious that the next Fest is Valkyrie in Season 10 in August. Okay, so just saying that right now. That also means Season 12 is going to be the Fest afterwards, and that's going to be Black Divider Asta, probably. So just putting that out there. Now, next up, for rerun fests, they always, now it seems, it's going to be 2 fests afterwards. So Asta was 2 fests ago in Season 4, which means they're going to release 4 seasons after as a rerun. So Yuno's going to be a rerun with Black Divider Asta, which is kind of a fire rerun release, but that also means, because Julius came out in Season 2 and reran in Season 6. Keep that in mind, okay? Every Fest reruns 4 seasons later, okay? That's all I need to say about reruns and Fest banner releases. Now, what should you be summoning on? We're going to talk about that. Now, they're allowing you to build a bunch of different teams. There's not one team reigning above all. So it's basically, this is going to be a video explaining, updated, because there's a lot of new info, basically explaining what to summon for what teams, okay? We have the information for Grey. We don't for Finral. If you want info for Finral, we'll probably get it in about a week, 2 weeks, and stay tuned for that. But let's start with Spirit Dive Yuno. So Spirit Dive Yuno is going to be very good in the mono green meta, okay? Right now, mono green is kind of reigning above everyone. And once we get Spirit Dive, it's going to be even more apparent. He's going to be good for the next 2 months on the mono green meta. And then when Valkyrie and Noelle releases in Season 10, he's going to reign even harder than in RTA. So RTA should release in around Season 10, just to say 2 months later. If they're releasing RTA near Valkyrie, then that would mean RTA is going to release around Valkyrie in Global, most likely, unless there's big issues that we find. So RTA is coming out in 4 days at the time of release on the 30th. So that's going to be very, very fun. Now, Black Asta is someone that you should only summon for if you don't have his skill page at this current point in time. And also there's the skill page banner. So I would recommend if you don't have a skill page to summon on the skill page banner because it's higher chance. Or if you're a new player. If you're a new player, going for Black Asta is definitely the way to go. Now, for seasonals, my personal recommendation from this point on until there's 2 really, really good seasonals is to summon and get one of the 2. If you're a mono red player, I would say Rill is the best way to go. Okay, Rill is probably the highlight pick from these 2. Rill is red, Noelle is blue. All right. Now, Noelle is going to be good on mono blue, but it's nothing crazy. You also need to max duper for her to really have value, where Rill just needs 1 copy of his skill page and 0 dupes, and he's going to function. Okay. My friend, top 5 JP player, has Rill not max duped, so keep that in mind. All right. His Black Asta is 111 KCC, and sometimes he uses Rill, and there's no problem with running a 0 dupe Rill, where Noelle max dupe or 2 dupes even is way more important. So I'd say going for Rill between these 2 and skip the banner is the way to go. Remember, Gateway of Reunion, you have 1 key per season, and that key is going to allow you to pick for free one of these 2 units. Now, you do want to get Real Skill Page. To get Real Skill Page, you have to use 8 mage dupes, so you could get it without summoning on the banner. I think this is a worthy pickup, and if you just summon on Yuno, then you're going to have more than enough to get Rill. I think most people have extra dupes. Honestly, this is a recommendation to make from now on. Do not feed in dupes, okay? Do not feed in dupes of units that you don't use or standard units, unless it's like a really, really good dupe, obviously. So that's Season 8. You basically, most people should summon for Yuno, in my opinion, get him 1 copy at least. If you want, obviously I made a full should you summon for Yuno, but 1 copy at least, and then you're fine for the rest of the season. You don't need to get summon on Noelle, Rill, and Asta, it's only if you're missing the skill page or you're a new/returning player. Now, next up, Season 9, okay? This season is going to be pretty interesting. All right. So first of all, we're going to start with Nozel and Kohono. Nozel is actually very good on mono blue, and once we get him with the DOT buffs in a couple days, we'll see even more things with him. Nozel will, like, for the DOT buffs to really help him out, he's going to need to be max dupe. He's going to be able to apply 2 AoE poison buffs, and remember, once you get to 3 stacks of poison, you get 50% mobility reduction on whoever has the 3 stacks. So keep that in mind. He also reduces the damage they do. He reduces his own damage dealt, and he will actually be quite good. He also removes buffs and then lowers buff duration, the turns by 1. So Nozel is going to be pretty good, but I think most people should go for Kohono because she's going to be a PvE goddess, just being able to buff the shit out of everyone. Okay, so I think Kohono actually is going to be quite nice to use in raids, and just a lot of people are going to actually find a lot of value from her, especially in World Boss, in my opinion. So definitely, I think choose Kohono. Unless you're a mono blue runner, then obviously you would have chosen Noelle also, then you're going to choose Noelle in this instance. Now, for Finral and Gray. Gray is basically being able to buff mono team. So she's gonna technically be runnable with mono blue and mono red. Alright. She's gonna be giving a defense buff, damage reduction buff, damage increase buff, and is gonna be increasing DOT times. Okay. Well, basically, she's going to be duplicating the DOTs. So if there's one poison, she's duplicating it to 2. If there's 2 poisons, well, it's going to go to 3, right? Remember, the DOT buffs make it so you could apply poison and bleed 3 times, and then they give poison, bleed, and shock a 3-stack effect. All right, so if you want to check that out, check one of my previous videos when Valkyrie Noelle was released and all that good stuff. So, Gray will be doing a good amount of damage reduction for the team, damage increase, and then she's going to be adding a DOT effect by 1, all right? So it's basically a duplication effect for DOT, but she has to be max dupe or use the skill 1. That's the 2 ways you do it. So Gray for those 2 teams will be good. I think overall she is a pretty easy skip for most people unless we find hidden tech, which we'll see very soon, right? We will see very soon. Now Finral, very funny, but on the JP livestream on the 25th that they released Gray's kit on, basically Finral, the developer that they were talking to, I don't know if it was probably not the main dev, just someone who works at Vic Games, said that Finral was too busted and would have broken PvP. So yeah, they had to kind of delay him a bit. So we're gonna have to wait a bit to see. But on global, don't worry, it's fine. You're gonna get Finral and Gray on time. Finral is still probably going to be someone you're going to want to get. I think just in general, Finral being a speed unit, it's just every Finral should be a speed unit in some way, shape, or form. Even if they make a DPS Finral, they'll probably sneak in speed somewhere in his kit, so keep that in mind. He will probably be good, and like probably in my opinion, the only unit you're going to summon on in this season. Hopefully you could get him early and then just stop summoning. Hopefully his skill page isn't good, and then you'll be fine. So next up, season 10 is basically the end of what we know right now. And for this, we got Zora and Vanessa. These are 2 units. We don't really know what they're doing, but I think Vanessa is a supporting unit, potentially. Now, these are the 2 first units that shouldn't really be part of the mono meta and are not light units, because remember, Finral and Gray are light units. So Zora should probably be busted. My guess is most people will pick Zora if they're going for meta, and then they're going to pick Vanessa for mommy status. But Zora does have reflections in his kit from what we saw from the skill arts. So Zora will probably be just someone you're going to pick. I do not think you should summon on this banner, and then Valkyrie Noelle comes out, and then you're going to want to max her out. Only max dupe. You don't need to max skill page, but you do want to get the skill page. So overall, there's not really many banners you want to summon for. None of the seasonals in the next 3 seasons are summon worthy. So every month you're summoning essentially on one main banner. Now you got to remember, if you're missing anyone, like if you want to get supporter Vanessa, right? Or I don't know who else you would want to get really. Charlotte in the future for a rerun. Probably her rerun's going to be in season 9 or 10. Probably 10. So if you want stuff like that, then it's going to obviously take more crystals. You got to remember what you need on your account, and that reruns do exist, so you got to play accordingly. But there's also the Mario Leona rerun, which I don't think many people should summon on at that point. By the point Mario's out, unless somehow Finral, Vanessa, or Zora really buff Mario up, I think it is the safest rerun skip ever, in my opinion. So that's probably going to be how it is. Then remember, Black Divider Asta's in season 12, so probably a lot of you guys are going to completely save for that. But yeah, Noelle, you're going to pretty much want to get. She is just a very, 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 very good unit. But yeah, we don't know much about Zora and Vanessa, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, that's basically the release schedule for the next 2 or so months. I mean, no, we got the month of June, July, and pretty much most of August. So we got a good amount of stuff. The next 2.5 months are going to be looking pretty good, in my opinion. Starting Finral and Gray is when I think most people should start getting excited, but the next month and a half is going to be kind of boring, in my opinion. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I hope this was helpful on who to pick for the seasonals. I don't really think many or anyone should really summon on the seasonals, but then the rest is really up to you. But I just thought I'd update you guys on when everyone is coming out to global and all that good stuff.